What's going on, guys? Non-intellectual intellectuals here, back for episode 4. So today we're joined by Hunter,
Carole fucking Baskin, that bitch.
Robert,
What's going on?
Josh,
Feel like a Pokemon trainer because I just weed a little.
what? Mate, these are getting worse and worse. Ryan,
What up, guys?
and this week's special guest, Oliver.
G'day, guys.
Something a bit more compelling than that.
That's
Yeah,
alright.
tell us a bit about yourself, mate.
Oh, yeah, about me, engineering student. So I wouldn't blame you if you thought I was a bit more intellectual than non-intellectual.
And
And
before,
why didn't you want to join the podcast initially? Was it you saw how successful we are? Just wanted to hop on the bandwagon, mate. Well, once the prospect of you guys making money came up, very small speck on the horizon, that is, though.
Nah, it's not too far, mate.
before we continue as well, I'd just like to say a big American hello to all our American and international listeners. I think that fits the theme of today's episode well because according to our analytics, 25% of our viewers come from USA.
Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. We're
Did you
going
say
well
it's-
with this, boys. So a big hello to our international listeners.
Woo! Did you say it's like one specific town as well?
Oh, is it Winterwood? I hope so.
Oklahoma.
Florida.
It will be after this.
Texas.
Joe Exotic. What's up, Joe? How's it going, bro?
On that,
He's fucking listening.
this week's topic, boys, we've got a bit of Tiger King, which has been very, very topical as of late. For good reason. For good reason. It's one of the craziest things I've ever watched in my life, I reckon.
Honestly, it's like it
Let's-
seems like the fakest shit, but it's like real.
It does.
Let's jump right into the big issue. Did Carole Baskin kill her husband?
Yes, 100%.
I definitely think so.
I have no doubt in my mind that that woman killed her husband.
Go to the Tigers.
Definitely.
100%. Absolutely.
Because I watched the show later than all these boys, and I thought I'd write down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to interrupt there on that. Fucking Tonino is meant to be the host of this podcast,
Which
yet can't
I am.
honor a promise to finish a 7-episode show
did.
with like 3 weeks' notice.
I did finish it, you think?
No, after we had to push back the podcast, so
Yeah, well, I'm a busy
shit form from you,
I'm a
mate.
busy man, you know that. I got my entrepreneurial, my side hustles, I'd say.
You mean streaming to fucking 2 viewers on Twitch?
Four.
Yeah, me and Hunter, that were the 2 viewers.
Oh, come off it, please.
And Rob.
Anyway, continue.
So what I wrote down, I sort of just wrote a little bit down from the start of the show, just so I could see if I changed my mind at the end. First thing I wrote down was like how much of a crazy cunt Joe Exotic is. I quoted what he said, and it's, "I've been doing this 20 years and I've never been bit." And then the next clip was him getting tackled by a tiger and almost getting bit and going, "Nah, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright."
There's one bit when he gets bit on. Have you seen the bit where he gets bit on his foot and he's blaming all his employees for someone putting something on his shoes?
Cologne or some shit.
Spraying someone on his shoes to make the tiger. And he's like, "You guys fucking set me up."
He must have felt like a cowboy when he's getting dragged by the leg and he just pulls out his revolver and fucking.
Yeah.
Absolute
Tiger.
savage.
He went
Absolute
full
savage.
gulag in the tiger cage.
Oh man, I wouldn't be the same with a 357 piece of trash.
At the start of the show, he reminded me a little bit of Steve Irwin, but like super like just hillbilly
Just
version.
redneck.
Demented
Yeah.
American
Yeah,
version.
Yeah. And Carol's just. What are your thoughts on Carol?
Yeah, she's a bitch, but I don't know why, but I'm actually kind of skeptical that she killed her husband.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why?
And I'm a lone wolf on this too, so it's awkward. But
Why?
I
Do
don't
you
know.
think she hired somebody else to do it?
Potentially, yes.
So what's your
potentially
theory?
it could be a double hitman case here, but
What doesn't add up?
I'm a realist. Or I consider myself a realist. Unless you can provide me some cold hard evidence, I'm always going to be skeptical about something.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I just don't.
Give us some
I'm just
evidence.
wondering. I'm just wondering what her motive would have been to kill her husband.
Millions
Like,
of
She has
dollars.
so
Oh
much
my
motive.
god, bro! Did you watch
She's
the
only
show?
person that has a motive.
Yeah, I did, but I've got a poor memory.
She's literally the only
Well-
person that had a motive. Her husband was rich as fuck. And then before that, she was like changing all the will documents so that she'd get all the money, pretty much.
She did it after the
She
fact.
controlled
And
the estate.
apparently the signature of Don Lewis, who was meant to be looking over his will, his signature on that document is different to his signature on everything else.
All right, so she's a hustler, but I don't believe that she carried out the murder.
And
herself.
before he obviously disappeared, what was I going to say?
Was it how the documents
She
are
was-
like
she was
about
planning
being
to-
deceased?
She was planning to divorce her, so then she'd basically
Yeah,
be
yeah.
left with no money.
Yeah,
She wouldn't get any of that money.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, like Don went for the restraining order, and it was always like, yeah, nah, can't do anything about this.
Well, you
All
know
right,
how
you've got me convinced.
That was a pretty quick 180 right there.
Oh,
But
and
you know
how
how-
she put in the will as well. She put in the
Well, she
will
changed it.
as well that she'd get it if he like in the case of him disappearing.
Oh,
Yeah, like, who
that,
says
yeah,
that?
that was the only, that was one of the.
And that
only
apparently
that stood
never
out for me.
happens in any wills. It's always if the person dies.
And also,
Yeah,
she fucking every piece of clothing she has is fucking tiger print. That screams fucking crazy.
It does.
Bro,
Well,
she's
was
just
she
as bad as
crazy?
Joe Exotic.
yeah,
Like,
100%.
Worse.
Keeping
Yeah.
all these tigers in the cages, like apparently worse facilities than what Joe had. And
Yeah.
and this was the most intriguing part for me, like her army of slaves that are like willing to do
Oh,
all
yeah,
this
that was
volunteer
yes.
work.
there's no doubt
is
about it that
dodgy.
she's a fucking cow.
Yeah. Such a hypocrite.
Oh, and how many times did the show want to show her riding her little fucking tiger bike? Showed it like 20
Yeah.
times.
Well, is she? Was she based
Sorry,
in like
go on.
Canada or something? Was that where they were originally based?
No, Florida.
No, Florida.
They're always
Because-
They're always in Florida.
I was reading some comments, like, well, initially when she was with her husband before they died,
Ah,
where were they?
yeah, I don't know. I can't remember.
Well, I was reading some comments by some locals from that area, and apparently that exact street where she like got picked up from is literally the same street where that time of night only prostitutes walk there. So she was definitely playing like there's something going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's wacky.
And
Wacky
obviously, like, this dude wasn't keep putting up with her shit any longer, so she's like, well, gotta get rid of you to get your money. But how much of a simp is this new guy, Howard Baskin?
Oh my
As
God.
soon as I saw the freaking wedding photo of him in the little dress on the tiger leash, I'm like, this guy
Oh.
is the biggest simp
He's
I've
the
ever
biggest
seen.
fucklord I've ever seen. He's a
Like,
fucklord.
you know why she got with that simp lord? It's because she knows that he's not going to try to steal her fucking money.
Yeah,
He's probably rich as well.
She just dominate him.
How about the ears on the cunt? They're that
He
big.
looks like the guy that goes, nice.
Yeah,
Looks like that guy.
yeah. Actually does.
He just recently died.
Did he?
Oh, did
No
he?
way.
Yeah, he did.
That's sad.
Oh,
He
yeah,
was my favorite
recently,
meme.
No, he died. So,
Michael
Howard Baskin.
Whatever his name is.
No,
Nah.
the nice,
No, the
Oh,
spaghetti dude.
rest in peace.
not nice.
So, I actually, I don't. Am I alone in saying this? But Tiger King actually, it took me a few episodes to get into. I didn't really start getting hooked until like episode 3, maybe.
Nah, I was in on it the first one, to be honest. I thought it was
Yeah,
pretty
same.
interesting.
No, it took me a while to get into it. Like it took me like nearly 2 weeks to watch the first 3 episodes. But then after that, I was hooked.
Yeah.
But I actually found, as much as it was interesting and it was good to have a laugh at, because it's just obviously a bunch of fucking redneck bogans. I actually found some parts of it really, really sad. Like
100%.
in this whole feud between all these fucking people, there's just animals everywhere getting absolutely neglected. People dying. Like fucking this Joe Exotic, he's completely ruined 2 of these blokes' lives that he originally married. Like,
Yeah.
he's obviously like finessing straight guys into getting them into bed and then just like taking advantage of them by drugging them up, and like
Yeah.
that was just so sad. And that Travis bloke looked like he looked like a nice kid, like good looking. He was smart. Like he could have had such a better life. And that to me was just like really shocking.
Then again, though, all the people Joe hired were pretty much like doing bad, like really badly.
Yeah, they had no other
They're all,
choice.
outcasts.
So
So this kind of seemed to them like a way out, but instead it's just even worse. Like, imagine your boss feeding you expired meat.
yeah, that was crazy. Hey.
Remember when they put it on the pizzas?
Yeah.
Yeah, they sold the expired meat to the. That's terrible.
Oh,
Speaking
Travis
of
had
the people
a-
who
Go ahead.
speaking of people who were hired, they actually had to sign NDAs, which is a non-disclosure agreement. So like they wonder why people never spoke out. The people who were like in such a bad situations at the park, they got paid like $100 a week or something,
yeah.
and they like couldn't leave. Yeah, because they legit were bound like legally. They couldn't say anything. They couldn't like disclose information about the animal cruelty and what they were doing. So
Yeah,
that's pretty
fuck.
crazy.
Yeah.
He knew
They
as
didn't
soon
have
as he was
anywhere else to
signing them.
go as well.
Yeah.
Like if they left the park, they don't have any other job experience. A lot of them are criminals, been through drugs and that sort of thing.
Well, that
So it's sort of their only option.
that chick who got her arm bitten off and then came back.
Saf.
That just speaks volume to like how bound they must have been.
I reckon to an extent she was like still like in love with the animals, because they all kind of, even that like blonde hair, like long hair blonde guy, he was like loving them, but every time Joe had to fucking like murder the cunts, he was just like hating his life.
How good's what's that bloke's name? Blonde ponytail bloke.
Eric something.
What was his last name? Anyway, the guy.
Eric Cowie or something.
No.
Yeah,
No. The
blonde ponytail.
the dude who has like 6 wives.
Oh, Doc Apple.
Doc Antle.
Antle, yeah.
Mate, he's my spirit animal.
Crazy.
He's my
What?
spirit animal.
I was kind of thinking this before because as you see, a lot of people are asking the actual people from the documentary, because they're trying to make a movie like, who would you want to play you? And I was thinking more along the lines of who out of us would play each character or would be most likely to be each character.
Robert's Joe Exotic.
Yes, I thought the exact same thing, actually.
Nice.
Shut up, Josh. You're his gay sidekick.
Josh
You're
is Travis.
Well, yeah, you're the biggest simp here, so you can be Howard Baskin, you fucking whip cunt.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Fuck is left. Ooh, I reckon Tanino's definitely Carole Baskin.
What?
No, he's
Yeah.
Doc. Dano's definitely Doc Antle.
Oh
Like,
yeah, his dog. Yeah,
he would make his wife change her name
I love that.
for no reason. Have 4 different wives, manipulate women.
He was my favorite character.
No, you're Jeff Lowe, Harvey Hunter. You're
Yeah,
Jeff Lowe. I'm the con man.
Facts.
Ryan's the
really,
cunt
that's
who had her arm bit off.
I'm,
F in the chat.
oh,
I'm loyal to the cause.
Wow, you really doing
Okay.
you really doing Ryan like that.
The funniest thing about Doc Antle was when they first like met him to go film around his park. He's like trying to set up the shots and stuff. Like, I'll act like we've never met, and I'll like come through the door and greet you and stuff.
Yeah,
Like trying to make himself look good.
yeah, that was pretty funny.
That was pretty funny.
Well, did you guys watch the True Geordies podcast with Doc Antle?
No.
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 He was talking about how that one woman that they found, you know, the one they interviewed about him, the redhead, younger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He said they were offering $10,000 an interview, and she was the only one that they used. So apparently she was like not at all truthful, but no one is completely truthful in this documentary. Like do you guys remember Joe's like campaign manager? I can't remember his name,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
but yeah, apparently he isn't a great person either. Like he has domestic abuse charges against his boyfriend, one of them for slicing him open with a katana actually.
Bro.
Which is so crazy. And he used to work at the gun section at Walmart. So like anyone you thought was trustable is definitely not trustable.
Oh,
Yo,
yeah.
a campaign manager literally is the definition of one of those cunts who wear fedoras and katanas.
Yes. Oh, for sure. But did anyone here think that Joe was actually gonna win governor?
Not at all. No.
No, there's no way. There's no way.
I mean, Trump got in. Joe would be the next thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
This is
Apparently,
America
he
is
wasn't that
crazy,
far
but-
away from it though.
true. He got 19%.
Yeah,
Not
even
bad.
that's
That's
kind of
honestly not
extraordinary.
bad.
Yeah.
Imagine going to like a campaign rally with your mother and you get handed a Joe Exotic condom.
Yeah.
I full want one. Like if I could order one in from America,
They'd be
I'd
that
happily pay
expensive
for it.
right now.
Yeah, they would though. They 100% would.
What about the Joe
How's
Exotic?
when he had the campaign party, and then when he found out he lost, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna jump off the roof."
Yeah.
Not too
It's
far out of
fucked
what
up.
to do.
How about the
Did he
Joe?
go for president before that?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then he couldn't get it, so he's like next best thing governor. And then he didn't get it, then he got all espresso depresso.
Yeah, went full crazy, and then then he burned down all the evidence.
Yeah, but do you reckon that was him?
Nah, that was Jeff Lowe for sure. Jeff Lowe is way dodgier than Joe. 100%.
Because Joe wasn't even there, was he? He was like away.
Well, you know they pulled, you know they showed the short clip of camera footage, and the body type and walking like looked like Joe. Like he looked like he had a crippled leg and the same posture, but you know somebody could have just been doing that to get some.
It could have been that. It could have been the legless guy, bro.
Why,
I don't
not?
think.
Why would he do that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing shit out there. I don't know.
He was Joe Exotic was blaming the guy making the documentary, and he's like, "Are you serious? Like this is literally my fucking
Yeah,
years
he's-
of work that could get me heaps of money."
What,
making this
Rick
documentary.
Kirkham.
like, why
They
would?
said
Yeah,
Why
go
would
on.
he burn it?
Why would I burn my
After-
tigers?
after that his like recording studio got burnt down. Like you know how he like dipped. He's like, "All right, I'm gonna head out." He didn't want to be there anymore. He left.
Yeah.
Like six months after that, his actual house burned down.
Yeah,
Like,
fuck.
mysteriously. Yeah, that wasn't in the series. I looked at.
And was it
but, like,
arson or?
Yeah. Oh, they don't know.
I am of the opinion that hashtag exotic was framed.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Frank.
Oh,
I'm
he's-
not denying. No, listen, hear me out. I'm not denying that he's done some terrible, terrible things in terms of killing tigers to make room for more for the the petting side of thing and the making money off it and
He's-
all that kind of
Although
thing.
he said he shot those tigers because they were old and sick.
Easy to say,
Which
Anyway,
Eric
but-
dude said wasn't true.
which is besides the point I'm trying to get
Mm.
at.
Okay,
What I'm
Eric,
saying is that I firmly believe that Jeff Lowe was a mastermind wholly behind the plot to kill Carole Baskin. Joe was just like an accomplice to it. So he didn't. I don't believe that Joe was talking about the plans at all to kill Carole.
Bro,
I think yes, when
Bro.
Jeff said it to him, he would have supported it, but I don't think he had anything to do with the planning of it. I think it was purely between Jeff and his hitman to frame Joe so that Jeff could have full control of the Tiger Park.
bro,
I'd actually agree
Bro.
with that.
Joe Joe literally released commercials saying, "I want to kill Carole Baskin," and that's to the
I know,
public.
but
Imagine what this dude would do, like undercover.
dude, I know, but Joe, you got to remember as well that Joe was clearly like his whole thing was he wanted to be famous, and he would say that on camera if he would have thought he was going to get views and he was going to get clicks, and that's what he would have done.
Yeah, but some of
But I don't think he would have gone as far as killing someone.
yeah, but some of the things you'd say, like when they were flying the helicopter over her property, and he's like, "Oh, how good it would be to drop some grenades over this." Like what?
You can bring up all those quotes if you want, but you're not. I don't think you can change my mind on this one.
I definitely think
I-
Jeff Lowe manipulated Joe into putting out the hit on Carol and had a part in it,
Yeah,
which he
Yeah,
seems
how's
to
this?
get no blame.
What do you guys reckon of this? Well, what was your opinion when you first saw Jeff Lowe? Could you see through the fact that he was like a player and he had no money, and he was just fronting that he was rich and that he had all this stuff, or did you actually think that he was like doing scams to get all that money?
Yeah, bro. Who would drive a Ferrari into a zoo? Like, are you kidding me?
Because I'm thinking this dude's ball. He's about to save this whole joint. And then
yeah,
when I found out, I was like, whoa, like
con
He's
I
artist.
think it all kind of
Yeah,
made it
why not?
was like a little surprising, but to me it all made sense. Like,
Mm.
you know, it no like the way he dresses and the way he lives his lifestyle, but has
Hmm.
no like former the documentary didn't tell us anything in terms of what he'd done to make all this money. So
yeah.
Well, isn't he conning the other guy now? Like how they're building like that new zoo, but he's done nothing.
Yeah, he
yeah,
did.
Tim Stark guy.
I don't think they're doing it together anymore.
No, Tim Stark got his animal license revoked for like animal negligence or something, but he's like going to jail now as well. So
Oh damn.
Yeah, I can agree then. I do see that side where Joe could have got set up.
I
Yeah,
definitely
think
feel
about
like he
this-
has more to be a part of it. Like he's not just a side character. He needs to be charged with something.
What about
I think
this,
Jeff's a much more malicious character than Joe, honestly, and I think it's pretty unjust for Joe to be in prison under counts of animal abuse and animal neglect when Doc Antle, Jeff Lowe, Carol and Carole Baskin are clearly all doing the same shit.
Yeah,
have
definitely.
you
Yeah.
did you guys check out the Big Cat Rescue Facebook page?
Nah.
No, I didn't.
The fans, like the people that are probably be the slaves at Big Cat Rescue, are rabid. They are insane. Like if you just check out some of the comments, like they, have daily updates with all the tigers, and then if anything comes up about the documentary, they go, Joe Exotic is this dirtbag. I can't believe anyone would defend this man. Like clearly a psychopath, just blindly following this Carole Baskin.
I don't know about you guys, but throughout the documentary, I fucking hated Carole Baskin's guts.
Yeah.
Is that
Same.
Oh, for sure.
she was just like I don't know, she just reminded me of, I don't know, one of those fucking animal activists that are just trying to get clout.
You reminded me of that patronizing, bitchy fucking high school teacher woman that you had. And she'd just do whatever she could to be like give it. She had a smart ass comment.
Oh yeah.
Our U7
think of one.
You know what
coordinator.
I'm talking about? Yes.
Oh yeah.
Precisely.
He does give off the same vibes.
And a
Yes.
particular few English teachers.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can
Baskin
think of them.
definitely be an English teacher in a different life.
Yes.
On a lighter note, how fucking good were Joe Exotic's music videos and songs?
Literally thinking the same
I actually
thing.
went there.
I actually frothed those. That was so funny.
Was it him singing though?
No,
Do you
it's
reckon?
not. It's not.
It didn't look like him
Oh.
singing, but like
That's a shame.
No, it's not.
As
It's a
I was
if,
just
of the
watching
song.
something where the two dudes that sung them, they got names, but I can't remember the names. So it's definitely not him that sung in those.
oh damn, that sort of ruins it for me.
But I mean the whole video production is like pretty good.
I just cracked up because it was like serious, and then all of a sudden there's a music video of this guy standing on a car playing a guitar.
Bro, what about the cunt that was on the fucking jet ski at the end? That was the
That was
most
my favourite
unserious
scene.
thing.
Oh yes,
was-
that redhead rides off into the sunset on his jet ski. What do you think about that guy anyway? We haven't really
Snitches
talked
get
much.
stitches. I hope he dies.
Yeah, big snitch.
Shady cunt. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Um,
I reckon he's
Literally
done
everyone
some
in this
dodgy
show.
stuff as well. They've all done
Yeah.
some dodgy stuff that they should go to jail for, I reckon.
Yeah, I agree.
especially the Scarface bloke.
Oh, the hitman. What's his name? Alan.
Oh,
Yeah.
who let him be filmed in a bathtub is my question.
Yeah, that was so funny. He's having a bath.
Yeah. I didn't need to see that part of him.
So you know how America has like currently a massive problem with like big cats in the wild.
Mm.
Do you reckon that's all as a result of these little things that were happening around?
I don't know what the problem is.
Oh,
Usually.
there's literally big cats like popping up in people's backyards in America. Walking.
There's-
What, just like
more-
with no known owner.
No, just like there's big cats. Like people, like Joe Rogan spoke about it. He's like scared to go on hikes because of big cats.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah.
Like, people have
100%.
brought them in and then released them, kind of, into the wild.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
or
now
they've
they're
been
technically
bred,
wild, but
or they've been bred in these like zoos and shit, and then there's been like escapes, or they've just like abandoned them, like kind of
Yeah,
thing.
what happened with that one example in the documentary where I don't know if the dude just let his animals loose or he got killed so the animals just kind of got themselves loose. Do you remember what
Oh.
happened there?
That news report thing.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
but it
sure.
was like
I think that's let it go.
80 wild animals just let on the loose. So
It
they had
was-
to shut down this town.
It was like 11. I think it was like 11 big cats. I think I heard there was a bear in there, maybe.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, but. And isn't there like an extra episode of Tiger King coming out or something?
It's already out, but it's not that good. It's literally
Yeah.
just
I got 20
talking.
minutes in and turned it off. I was bored.
What
Yeah.
is
It's
it?
talking through on Skype, literally.
To who?
it's
So
just
it's
an
an
interview with all the
interviewer.
people.
Yeah,
Oh,
literally.
right. Okay.
Except
Yeah, so
Joe.
it's a guy. It's just about a news reporter in America that decided, oh, people want to hear more about this group of people. So he did like a follow-up interview. Not sure how long after they finished filming, but would have been a couple months to see like all their opinions on the documentary after they've watched it.
But he literally asked the shittest questions. They were just like weak
Yeah.
as, like nothing hard hitting. It was just like, oh, how did you feel about the show?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was shit. I watched it.
What do you guys reckon of the hype? Like the hype of the show? Do you reckon it's worth it?
Somewhat.
No.
I reckon there's some reasons behind it. One, obviously, just because we're in isolation, that's why it's massive.
Yeah, that's true.
And the other reason would be it's got like such a memeable like format to it that like it's just blown up.
Yeah, it's
So that's why it's done really well that way.
the Donald Trump Joe Exotic combo is my favorite.
The face mash. Did you see that? Donald Trump was asked about giving Joe Exotic the presidential pardon, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll think about it."
Mate, I'll think about it after. I'll think about it after I inject disinfectant into me.
Injected.
Anything Trump says from this point forward is just so
That's
you
so dumb.
you take it with a grain of salt. Honestly,
He is the king of the world now. His arch nemesis is dead.
If Trump gets re-elected, I've actually given up in humanity.
I hope he does. It's funny.
Oh, it's not.
It's good having him around for meme value.
He's literally poisoning
Nice.
people. Literally.
Nobody's been injected with disinfectant yet.
Bullshit. The
What?
poison calls in America have skyrocketed.
What? Because people are trying it themselves.
Yes, I'm not even joking.
Oh my God.
I'm not even joking.
Oh fuck!
Fucking, they're a different breed of people.
They're
That's what they
fucking
are.
retards. So
Good, we
dumb.
should kill a few of them off.
Just
After watching Tiger King, we're probably better off without a few of them.
Let out a few of Joe's
North
Tigers.
Korea was right this whole time. Just press the button.
Oh, how about that? Keep my boy Kimmy.
That's what I was just saying. His arch nemesis
Yeah.
is more than likely dead.
Yeah. Oh, well, his sister's going to get in power anyway, so it won't change.
You're like his
Yeah.
sister will be even more of a badass than he is.
More of a baddie.
Yeah. Apparently, she's the one behind like his public image and shit. So she's like the mastermind. So did you guys see the glow up? But for what's it called? Joe Exotic's I guess ex-husband in like the new episode. Have you seen that?
Yeah, he's got his new
Yeah, he's
teeth. And...
fixed his teeth.
Yeah, he's got new teeth. Got like fucking.
Oh, that
it's
dude.
Amazing. Yeah.
Nice.
spend all his money wisely. But I was reading something the other day, and I don't think his new marriage is going that well because he already has domestic abuse charges with that new partner.
How
As
can
well
you
as-
domestically abuse someone from prison?
He's
Not
not in
Joe.
prison.
No, his
Ah,
husband.
right. Yeah, right.
Ex-husband.
Ex-husband.
That's nuts.
Yeah,
That is nuts. Those characters are just... Mate,
they're literally characters. Yeah.
they're literally characters. I don't even know what else to say about them.
Yeah, of course. Joe Exotic's a performer. Do you see when
Yeah.
Saf got his arm ripped off and then he came out with the leather ambulance jack? I
Yeah.
thought that was
So-
some of the funniest shit.
I've got a bit of a theory here to discuss.
Go
So
for it.
you boys know Joshua Dial. He's the guy that was I'm pretty sure he was the campaign he was a manager of Exotic's presidential campaign.
Right.
So that guy with the glasses, you remember him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one
Yeah,
who
yeah,
cut
so-
his boyfriend with a katana.
Was that him?
Yes.
Yeah, anyway. So him. So he's spoken out since the whole documentary saying, I believe they framed Joe Exotic. It was a conspiracy to take his zoo and the federal government played along. And then addressing the claims that a video existed involving bestiality, Dial said there's a videotape of animals involving sex with animals and a couple of other salacious videos and pictures. Jeff Lowe said he had those. He said he had a video of someone having sex with an animal. I don't believe it was supposed to be Joe, but I don't want to say a name. However, it was someone within the GW Zoo.
Bro.
Yeah.
Would not surprise me at all.
Yeah, I know.
I agree.
100% it would not.
I
How
agree.
weird all those people are.
Definitely some bestiality in that zoo.
Hunter,
And I
what you
would-
saying?
I
Go
wouldn't
ahead.
be surprised if it was Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, weren't you
Weird,
saying that the other day that you thought that they could have cut down like to 5 episodes or something?
Yeah, the show probably could have been condensed. Like Josh was saying before, like he struggled with the first 3, and a lot of it's just the same stuff. Oh, like they repeat in the next episode a lot of stuff. I guess, I don't know, like how you want to treat your audience. Like maybe they thought we aren't as smart as we are, but I thought the whole show could have just been condensed
Yeah,
into
like
maybe 5 episodes.
like if they took out Carol riding her bike, it would have cut down 3 episodes.
In
At
saying
least.
that though, in saying that, I don't know about you guys. When I started watching it, I was super confused about what time frame it was filmed, who filmed it, and how all the footage got collated and all these personal interviews. But like as you guys probably already know, that Joe Exotic and also like Doc Antle and everyone else, and Carole Baskin, she and everyone else, they filmed constantly themselves, like every day. Like you hear him
Yeah.
say, we film everything every day. So you might think Rick Kirkham, which is the guy with the cowboy hat and the scary face. I reckon he's a sick character, by the way. He's a sick bloke. But it's not actually him who produced the Netflix show. It's another group of people, another group of 2 people, but they actually had. So they've obviously got the footage from all the people who have been just filming themselves, and they actually they couldn't even go through all the footage. So you think, oh yeah, it could have been collated heaps, but also like they didn't even watch 100% of what they had access to because they didn't have time.
Yeah,
That's how
true.
much
Yeah.
footage they had.
It did confuse
like-
me a bit because like Carol's footage looked a lot more current than what Joe's did a lot of the time.
Yeah, and I reckon it is
Yeah.
because she probably didn't film herself as much as Joe did, but says
Yeah.
he's been filming himself since 2014.
Because some of the footage, like when that obviously they lost all that footage for the documentary he was shooting, and then they've still got all this footage. I'm like, where are they getting this stuff from, or is it like?
No, they were
Yeah.
shooting a reality
That's
show,
Joe.
not a
Is it?
documentary.
True, yeah.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
So they would add even more stuff if they had
Well,
not
if you
lost
did-
that stuff.
Do you remember that at the start of the doco, there was that one guy who is the guy, like one of the directors. He was looking at like some snake, and then he happened to see like a fucking cat in like a cage. It's like, oh, where'd you get that? And he's like, Joe Exotic, and that's how kind of this thing kind of started.
Yeah, but that's
so
all
I was
obviously
reading-
that's all obviously like post that was made for the show to flow.
Yeah, I was reading
No,
up
I
the
think-
people who made the show, like they're the actual people who. So they got tipped off about a snake dealer, and then they went there. So this is ages ago.
Mm.
Oh no, this is probably in like 2017. They went to the snake dealer's house and were like interviewing them because the two people who produce the show usually produce like conservation content.
Yeah.
So they wanted to like get in on some of that. And when they were leaving, obviously you see where they see the van and the whatever it was in it, the tiger or the leopard or whatever. And then that's basically where they started to go on this journey of searching for all the people who like sold and kept captive and all this shit of all those tigers. So like that's how they started, and then they just went in, and the whole scope of the project changed to Joe Exotic rather than just a conservation thing.
Yeah, so the start of
As
the
it should.
so the start of the show was meant to be more current, but then they literally used it to backtrack, and it still flowed as the start of the show because that's like it was their side.
Yeah. So it's like their entrance into it. The two
Yeah.
filmers, I think it's
It was pretty well done.
Oh yeah.
I enjoyed it. Enjoyed it
Apparently,
thoroughly.
the dudes who made this one made another one just before that, like blew up as well. I'm not
Yeah.
sure, but I keep hearing that.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed it as well, but in saying that, definitely doesn't live up to the hype, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's when there's a lot of hype around anything, it's hard to actually say something lived up to the hype, but it was enjoyable. And yeah, I don't know, it gets you thinking. It's
And hype probably made this conspiracy that I came across. Apparently, Don Lewis is Rob Lowe.
Jeff Lowe.
Jeff Lowe. Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
Jeff Lowe.
So
But-
what evidence have you got to support
Well-
this statement, Hunter?
Well, the conspirators say that Don disappeared, and he would have came back as Jeff Lowe, so Jeff could con Joe into getting all these assets that Carole rightfully owns. And then I know in the documentary they go on about Don being like having multiple partners, and they talk about Jeff being a swinger as well.
How about
yeah.
I got a conspiracy as well. Joe Exotic is Carole Baskin.
Yo,
Shut up. Honestly.
Bro, I mean, they could be the same person.
They fucking
Did
are.
you ever see them? Did you ever see them together in one shot?
Exactly. They're literally
How
Could be
good
like-
was-
they're literally the same person, but like on opposite sides of the spectrum.
I know. That's what when I was watching. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
fucking stupid. They're basically even Doc Antle and everyone. They're all doing the same thing.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter what
legit.
stance they take.
Yeah.
Do you remember how Doc Antle fucking? I think it was at the end. He was showing off like his babysitter.
Oh,
remember that?
he's talking about bloody.
Oh, no,
How
that
fucking
was
hot
Jeff.
she
Oh,
is.
that.
Oh yeah, Jeff. Yeah, Jeff. Yeah.
He's like this. Oh, look at this guy.
No point having around a babysitter here. Fuck her.
But he's in an open relationship with that Lauren chick, so he's just banging the nanny whenever he wants.
So retarded.
Yeah, Doc Anthony's a fucking sicko. Getting all the chicks to have like plastic surgery and shit, and just dressing him up
Changing
in his
names.
little costumes, and he's living
You
his
reminded me.
Recording it
You reminded
30
me of the
minutes ago.
Candyman in Australia.
the Candy Man.
What's
What?
that?
Yeah. Don't you know the Candyman?
No,
No.
You've always been living under a rock or some shit. He was
Well,
like
explain it.
he was like massive a few years ago, and he's still massive now. Like look him up, Candyman Australia, and he's like he lives in a mansion. Like he's rich as fuck. He lives in a mansion in Gold Coast, and basically just runs his own like Playboy mansion.
Oh,
Travis
fuck
Benyon,
yeah.
self-styled
Travis
Australian
Travis
playboy
Bainan, yeah.
and Candyman.
So he's like a Dan Bilzerian.
Fucking C grade.
Yeah, but Seagate, but Australian.
Yeah.
IKEA
Yeah.
version.
Oh, how's this though? I read yesterday. Guess where Mike Tyson got his tigers from?
What?
Exotic.
He didn't.
He did.
God.
Joe Exotic.
Really?
No.
Yeah,
Neil get
yeah.
his tigers from.
So did Shaq.
Quoted,
Shaq.
Mike
What?
Tyson admits he may have gotten his big cats from Joe Exotic, and in the thing,
That's crazy.
in the thing he goes, it could have been maybe where I got my cats would have got their cats from Joe, but I don't know.
No, is it burnt
Yeah,
down?
he has never been the sharpest tool in the shed, has he? Like,
Surely you would remember meeting Joe Exotic and buying tigers off him. He's a pretty distinct character.
Oh yeah, no, he's just trying to cover it up. He posted a
Yeah.
photo on Instagram and he hashtag Tiger King with his tiger. That's sick.
You know
the
OJ or something?
crocodiles?
Hey,
You know the crocodiles?
yeah.
Yeah, they were some of them were Michael Jackson from Netherlands, so you can't imagine what they've seen.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
What?
crazy.
Oh,
what?
the ones
So the
that got
crocodiles
burnt.
that burnt down.
About half of them I think were from Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson came from Neverland.
Yeah.
Oh my
unreal.
god.
It's unreal.
Yeah, shit. They would have been happy to burn.
Yeah.
In what they saw at Neverland, I would have thought.
Yeah, facts. That is
Jesus.
true.
Michael Jackson.
Character.
Oh, I got a question for you boys.
Guilty.
So after watching the show, it obviously exposed a lot of cruelty that happens in zoos in America. But do you reckon that changes your opinion when you sort of like go to a zoo, maybe in Australia, of how those animals are actually getting treated?
Well, my opinion on zoos has always been that they're unethical and immoral. I don't think there should be zoos at all. I think conservation sanctuaries are great because they actually promote, like breeding programs and then integrating endangered species back to the wild. But I actually think zoos are not good. I don't think they should be legal. That's my
Even
that was
something
my
like
opinion.
Werribee
before.
Zoo, that's like freaking huge.
Yeah, I don't think there's a need for them.
But a lot
But that
of
was
them
my opinion
encourage
before watching Tiger King.
like breeding of endangered animals and conservation anyway. So
Yeah,
like
but they
without
still-
the funding for those, how would
But
how
they still keep them in cages.
Mm,
Yeah, it's a
We also the fact that there's more tigers in cages and in like
In the
fucking
wild.
zoos than there is in the wild. But like, here's my thing with that: you can't like tigers don't belong in the wild anymore.
Yes, they do.
What do you mean?
Where are they gonna go? They're gonna get they're gonna kill people.
deforested.
yeah, but what? So you're just saying let's eliminate a whole fucking species just because
No,
we're
I'm saying
fuckwits?
where else are
No,
they
they
gonna...
should be in the jungle though.
Yeah, and then fucking Tarzan gets his willy bit off by one of them.
What you've just said is so retarded from someone that claimed to be the most intellectual in the group.
Oh, mate.
Oh,
It's
it's just-
roaming around right now, Joshy.
If I got eaten by a tiger, I reckon that'd be a pretty sick way to go out.
Fucking hell. Fucking
So you
hell.
died
Yeah.
to a
Rules
tiger,
for you on
getting eaten by a
life.
tiger.
Nah, tigers should not be. Those zoos or whatever the fuck they are, big cat sanctuaries, should not exist. You can't change my mind.
Josh,
Yeah, so
Yeah,
what
but
are you
this
gonna do with these tigers that already do exist and can't be reintroduced?
And
Just
can't
kill 'em?
and just are not capable of being reintroduced to the wild.
Yeah.
Just let them die out. Don't kill them, but keep them in good
Why?
homes.
but their lives can be good in conservations.
If they're proper
Oh,
ones.
well, maybe, but just don't breed any more of them unless you're breeding them to be reintroduced to the wild.
They are
A
being
tiger
reintroduced
needs
to the
tiger
wild.
needs kilometers and kilometers of territory to roam
Yeah.
properly.
4 miles
They're
and
not-
miles.
they're not
around
designed-
American viewers.
Yeah, they're not designed to be kept in a small little area.
Um,
But
Oh,
in saying that, you
nice.
can't release once you've had a tiger that's grown up in captivity,
Domesticated.
that's all they've
yeah.
known. You can't release them into the wild; they're just going to die.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't know
And
how to
what-
hunt for themselves or anything.
What like species do you kind of cut it off at? Because you're kind of sounding like a vegan right now.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying though. Like when you said, Josh, we should just like you don't agree with them being held in captivity and like through conservation programs, but like you can say the same about like having a pet dog or a cat.
That's a bit different.
How?
Dogs and cats don't exist in the wild anymore. They are a species that are
Yeah,
completely
and
domesticated.
and neither do tigers
Yes, they
anymore.
do in India. They
Yes,
do.
they do.
Yeah, like
What are you on
like
about?
fucking 50.
4,000.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
A
yeah.
very small amount. So what happens, as Ollie said, when they're all gone? Are we just going to kill them off? You said yes. Why
So you
haven't?
should eliminate
What
a species
are you on
just
about?
for-
No, I
he
didn't.
said,
Yes,
he
you
said
did.
kill off all the ones in captivity.
Yeah.
Not
Like,
not
just
kill
let
them
them
off,
die
but
out.
let the ones in captivity
Don't
die
breed 'em.
out, unless you're going to breed them to be reintroduced. to the
Okay.
wild.
So
Yeah,
my
I
point.
agree with that.
So my point still stands.
Which is what?
When all the wild dogs and cats were dying out, we kept them in captivity as pets. Why can't we do the same with tigers in conservations and zoos?
Well, because I'm going to say most dogs and pretty much all like house cats don't have the capability to kill humans. We shouldn't be domesticating animals that, without all our technological advances, would be higher on the food chain than us.
But the dog predecessor did. Like wolves, they can kill humans.
Yes, Robert, but that's a fucking stupid point because dogs have been domesticated to be cute and fluffy.
Yeah.
Not killers.
Why can't we make tigers fucking cute
Yeah,
and
well,
fluffy?
we could, but it's immoral and we shouldn't. We should let tigers live in the wild.
Yeah. Your point's. It's just
My point is the point of conservation and keeping our ecosystems strong. That's my point.
Anyway, we should release the tigers back into the wild. And what
Yeah,
Joe
just let 'em
Exotic,
die.
Carole Baskin, and Mr. Ponytail Man did was
Miyagi.
immoral.
Did you guys hear that Joe contracted coronavirus in prison?
He definitely just said that for attention.
Boy, he lied about having cancer. Did you believe anything?
See?
Yeah, he's a
It
sick
turned
cunt.
out he just had an anal hemorrhage, which, you know... you
Of
can't-
course he did.
No, wrong guess as to where it was from.
Joe loves it up the geezer.
So you boys are definitely on the side that Joe was getting bottomed out. He was definitely on the bottom.
On
No,
the
he was not.
You reckon
What,
he
do
was
you
on
think?
top,
Do you think
Rob?
Travis would have taken that?
Bro,
Travis
Joe
was
was
alpha,
definitely-
bro.
Nah, Trav
Travis
was the
would take
alpha.
anything for his weed allowance.
yeah, Travis was under there for it because he was an addict, and Joe was
Yeah.
feeding him drugs.
I reckon Joe was getting double penetrated. Trav through the back, and the other guy through the front.
Oh, the spit. Oh.
Yeah. Joe got that. He got
I think Travis wanted anything
They
to
were
do
doing
with
the
the
Eiffel
other dude.
Tower.
He just kind of
No,
accepted it.
boys, how fucked up was that scene where like Joe tries to lean in for a kiss and like Travis is like trying to pull away and Joe just like grabs him. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I know what
yeah.
you're talking
So,
about.
so sad. Travis was not gay. And
As he says
and he
this,
wasn't an addict when he got there either. Joe turned him into an addict.
Yeah, well, fucking like at the start when he came to the thing and Joe's like, "Are you straight? No, are you gay?" And he's like, "No." and then Joe's like,
You will be.
when
He's
you
like-
when you watch porn, do you like watching the chick get penetrated by a small or big dick? And he's like, "Big." And then he's like, "Then you are gay." And then they get married.
And that's exactly how it goes though.
That is so fucked.
Yeah, that's
only in America.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Nolte?
I was just going to say the exact same thing. Yeah, beat
Oh,
me to
right.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely
Even
insane.
the new guy's not gay either.
Yeah, no one's
Nah,
gay.
Nah,
he
the
goes
new
for
guy's
the same
definitely gay.
type, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Straight.
He likes
Okay.
that. He likes that straight guy that
So here's a conspiracy.
he turns
Joe
gay.
Exotic is James Charles.
Hi, thitters.
What?
Well,
Yeah. Next thing you know, we're gonna find fucking evidence that James Charles is a regular visitor to the Winterwood Zoo or some shit.
The back shed at Winterwood Zoo.
I wouldn't be surprised. There was a lot of celebrities going through there.
It's true.
You know,
Well, how
Doc Antle was on stage with what's her face?
Lady Gaga.
Britney
Like
Spears.
Britney Spears when she had the
Yeah.
snake and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
I was thinking that because he does
Yeah.
have Hollywood connections. Like he's worked on all these movies.
Mm.
What a savage.
Wasn't he on he was on like a talk show, wasn't he?
Oh
Doc
yeah,
Antle.
he
Oh,
was.
right.
Wasn't
Like,
it
maybe like
Late night.
who was
late
it?
show?
Um
Was it like Letterman?
Stephen Colbert, maybe?
Yeah, maybe that.
Before or after the documentary?
Before.
Before.
Way before. When it was young.
No.
It was what's his name? The legend in Late Night. Can't remember his name.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway,
I don't know his name.
do you remember the part when fucking when Travis died? Then a few months later, Joe gets married, right? And then he sends out an invite
the
to
mum of
Travis's
Travis.
mum, and she's like,
Bro.
"Oh yeah, I'll go. I'll be there for a wedding, and it's just her."
No, and then she turns up. She turns up to She
For a
turns
photo.
up to the funeral, and then Joe's just talking about his testes the whole time. He's talking about his balls.
And then he sings a song.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, Travis had huge balls.
The cunt's fucked. The
It's
cunt
like-
is fucked.
Yeah, honestly, it's Travis's mum's own fault for fucking going there. Like, she should have
Yeah.
known. She's dumb for not knowing that he's just going to try to finesse her. And here she is taking photos with the guy that basically killed her son and his new boyfriend.
Yeah.
So cooked. Joe Exotic's a savage.
Wait, how about the Scarface bloke who like
Yeah,
he went to jail for all this cocaine stuff and he's just owns all these tigers.
yeah, that guy's crazy.
He just reminded
hey.
me so much of Scarface.
Yeah, he really did. He really did.
And he's just living
Say hello to my
free
little
now.
friend.
Living free now with all these tigers and monkeys.
Yeah, absolute savage. Yeah, so that's probably that's 55 minutes, boys. Almost at the hour mark. So yeah, I thought that was a good app. Discussed some good topics. How much of a crazy cunt Joe is. And yeah, any final thoughts?
Hopefully a God for the Atheist comes back for this episode. I want to see what he thinks.
Yeah.
Our
I want
one
him to be
commenter.
alive when he comes out of jail. I want him to last the 22 years or whatever and come out.
He probably
That'd
well,
be
he might
Joe.
get presidential pardoned by
He's probably having
Donnie.
a fun time with all those boys in jail.
Oh, fucking oath. He would rather
He's in
be
his
more
element. Surrounded by men.
Yeah.
Alrighty,
Alrighty, let's wrap it up with the
Thanks
Joe.
everyone for listening,
crazy.
and we hope you have a great week. And we're wrapping it up with a what are we doing?
With a quote by Joe Exotic.
I'll go first.
And it goes, "Hey, I'm Joe Exotic, otherwise known as the Tiger King, the gay, gun-carrying redneck with a mullet."
Check the septic tank. And check the septic tank.
Hey, all you cute cats and kittens.